Hey everyone, I'm Eric. Welcome to Vintage Iron. Look what I got behind me today. The whole collection of the family. Only 4 tractors, I guess so. It's not a big collection, but hey, we're here to check them out. Let's do that. 3, 2, 1. Alright, so starting off, the collection is my dad's, actually, 1944 John Deere B. It's what's considered a style tractor. Let's take a look at it here. It's considered a style tractor and is also considered a wartime tractor. Now, exactly what does that mean? A couple things. So basically back during World War II, obviously metal, rubber, and commodities were in short supply, so tractor manufacturers had to make some changes and shortcuts, really, to get tractors out there to farmers that desperately needed them to make food for the soldiers fighting combat and keep everybody at home fed too. So basically what that means is these tractors were built with magneto ignition, so they did not have a battery on them. It also didn't have any lights, any generators, electric start, their hand start, no hydraulics. Even the radiator core is made of steel. Now you're not going to be able to tell because it's painted, but you can trust me on that. These tractors also were all fuel. So what that means is 2 fuel tanks here. Rear one would have been gasoline for starting the tractor to warm up the manifold. Front one, and the front one would have been kerosene or distillate. Now, with that said, this tractor does have some changes on it. We'll go over that in another video, but so that basically sums up what that kind of means there. Now, some of these tractors did come on steel. This one here, we did run the report on it, and it did not come with steel. It showed to have rubber. But long story short, it's a pretty simple tractor. Made just for plowing and cultivating and getting stuff done on the farm with no extra frills. Next in the lineup here is a 48 John Deere M. Now, you've seen this in many of my videos in the past. This tractor was actually the first tractor I bought in the collection here. We bought it down south by McConnellsville, Ohio, so it's probably about an hour and a half, 2 hours from here. Bought it from my dad's old boss, I should say. He bought it from a gentleman in Ashtabula, where I believe it actually spent its whole life. And when I bought it from him, as you can see in the other videos, it was pretty rough. When the tractor went to his farm, he used it for sickle mowing. That was pretty much it. It had the plow with it, which you've seen in other videos. You can go check those out. And that was pretty much about it. And when I got it, basically it had sat in his barn for a couple of years because he got a compact tractor. And at that point, he didn't need it anymore. And that's where I came in and bought it, brought it home, took it all apart, restored it. And that was already going on 6 years ago. But it's been an excellent tractor. Excellent collector's item as far as tractors go. If you're looking for something to add to your collection, I would definitely recommend an M. If you don't have one, they're a little powerhouse. They run really great. Tons of power for their size. They're really fuel efficient. And if you're tall like me, the platform has got tons of legroom. It's actually pretty nice. The only downside of these is getting up and onto them is kind of difficult. I always come from the back, step on the drawbar. That's the way I normally get up on it. As you can see from the video here too, I use these tractors. I don't just keep them in the garage stuff. That's why they're dirty and not as clean as they could be, and there's some scratches on them and stuff. You know, I believe you're going to restore a tractor, you might as well use it. It's a lot of money to put into something and not use it a little bit. I'm not saying abuse it, but it's kind of the way it is. So we got a 44, we got a 48, now we're going to move to the 49. This 49, Farmall C here, is actually my wife's. So we were looking for a tractor for her because she had tractor pulled one time on my M, which you can see in one of the videos. She kind of got the bug for it a little bit, and she helped me restore that M along with my dad. And we're looking for a tractor for her. So with that said, I was looking for some stuff. I found a Alice Chalmers WC down by Dayton, Ohio. Drove down there, looked at it, and when I came back, I realized it had hand brakes. And obviously all these tractors here in this lineup have foot brakes, but the hand brakes on those tractors are kind of mounted here. And if you need them, you got to pull them up. Well, they're not connected on each side. So for the right wheel, you have to pull that, left wheel, you have to pull that brake individually, side to side. So if you need both brakes, you're taking your hands off the wheel and pulling both brakes. And I was kind of leery with that with her, just being kind of new to tractor driving and all that kind of stuff. I think you get the point. So we drove all the way back empty-handed from that. So I started looking some more, found this Farmall C, and I said, man, that's a cute little tractor. I think she'd like that. So went out, checked it out with her. She liked it, kind of fell in love with it. So here it is. So we brought it home. There's some videos of her driving it around for the first time on my YouTube channel there. And basically, this didn't require a whole lot. We did repaint it at the time. The paint's not 100% the best. It looks really great on camera, but it's kind of scaly, to be honest with you. Probably could use a sandblast. But hey, you know, it's a fun tractor. She loves it. Taking the tractor, pulling it does good, runs good. So it's a nice little tractor for the collection also. And then last but not least, we have a 1953 John Deere 60. This is the newest to the collection. Now this tractor I bought from a gentleman in Defiance, Ohio. This winter, actually. It was on Super Bowl Sunday we brought it home. A very cold day, to say the least. Got caught in a snowstorm coming home. But nonetheless, here it is. Now, I owned a John Deere AW, which is very close to these. The difference is, obviously it was an A model, but an AW stands for wide front end. Since they had the narrow front, it would have wide front end. It also had 42-inch rear tires. This has 38s. Some differences. Newer, being this model 60 is newer than the AW. I actually sold that tractor for a boat we had. Now, that brings me back to this tractor. So, after selling that AW, I missed it for so much, to be honest with you, that I decided I need another big 2-cylinder in my life, because that B lives at my dad's house. So with that said, I was scouring the internet for a while, talked to my wife. She gave me the go ahead to look for one. Found this 60, and it's kind of right up my alley, to be honest with you, because the paint looks nice, and it's not a 100% show tractor, so I'm not going to feel bad about running it in the field and getting it dirty, but it's going to look nice and it's going to get work done here in the future. So that's where we're at with this tractor. Just got done doing some work to it. Kind of still working on the carburetor. It's been giving me some fits, but just had this rebuilt by a company in Michigan, and the fellow is nice enough to actually send me another carburetor for me to test to see if it's actually my carburetor or if it's something with the tractor that's causing me grief. It's just not idling correct, but it runs good otherwise, so trying to figure out what the problem is there. So anyways, this is pretty much our collection. Now with this tractor here, he bought it from a gentleman that had owned it since at least the 90s, and I did run the John Deere report on this tractor. This tractor was originally sold in Michigan, and I'm drawing a blank on where it was originally sold. St. Louis, Michigan. And with that said, I did find out that it was originally sold in Michigan. I believe it stayed in Michigan until like the 90s, when the gentleman before the guy I bought it from got it. So it's a relatively short amount of ownership as far as different people tractor, if that makes any sense. Long story short though, I bought it. It's a nice tractor, runs strong. It's a pretty tight tractor too. It seems to be kind of low hour. Even the brake pedals here, they really don't have a massive amount of wear. Everything's tight, like the clutch levers here normally get all wobbly. This one's not that bad. Same the shifter and stuff. It's not all chewed up and worn out here from being in different gears. So I'm not saying it's a low hour, and it's definitely not original, but it's definitely a pretty nice tractor. And I do have a 6 30 style muffler, or 30 series style muffler on their oval. I actually had a little accident with the garage door on the old one and bent the crap out of it, so I put a new one on there. It's a little quieter, so it should be a little nicer for field work and on the road and stuff like that for long periods of time. And I'll probably get some heat for it, but you know, it is what it is. So we're going to talk about these tractors in depth a little bit more, one by one, and a couple extra videos here, but I figured maybe you guys like to see the whole collection as a whole. And this B here, we just got really, my dad kind of did the whole thing by himself because I've been busy with working so much. But basically this B here is just fresh out of restoration, so we're going to do a video on that, but I'm going to need him to be here with me to do it. So that'll be in an upcoming video. Give you a little walk around on it though. Now this tractor here, I didn't cover the story behind it. So a friend of mine had a 1941 John Deere A in his barn, and it sat there basically as long as I've known him, and they bought it from a fella that lived down the street. Well, basically I fell in love with that tractor. So basically I fell in love with that tractor, and so did my dad. Every time he'd come over there, he kind of fell in love with it too. So fast forward probably 12 to 15 years, and I was actually on a training trip for business out in Iowa. I got the idea. I said, I wonder, because my dad, you know, he's always taught me a lot about all these tractors, you know, fixing them and stuff. He's not a big tractor guy per se, but he's always teaching me, has taught me mechanical background and stuff. So I said, you know, kind of like to give back to him everything he's done and raising us, and you know, with my mom helping us all out. So we decided, let's get him a tractor as a present for Father's Day. So that's where this tractor comes in. I found this tractor in Marion, Ohio. The guy I bought it from an auction in Mount Ayr, Iowa, and he had it shipped to Marion, Ohio. Now with that said, this tractor, when I ran the John Deere slip on it, the original factory data sheet where it says where it was shipped and stuff, this tractor was shipped to Mount Ayr, Iowa. And best of my knowledge, I don't think this tractor ever left the original farm all the way up until it would have been about 2017, 16, and that's about the time, I would say. Anyways, we bought it in 2017 if I remember correctly, and I got it. It looked nice. There's a couple videos of that online too on YouTube, and it was a nice tractor. The problem with it was it still had the all-fuel pistons in it. They definitely had some miles on them for sure. It was smoking and stuff, low on power. It ran pretty good, but it definitely needed a little help. It definitely wasn't a strong runner. So anyways, he ended up basically, it was just going to start actually as just putting new pistons in it. Then it led to paint, then it led to everything else. You know how it goes, snowball effect. So with that said, that's what this tractor's background story is. We gave it to him as Father's Day present. He was extremely happy to get that tractor, and he's enjoyed it every day since. So looking back on it, I might have got him maybe a different tractor that was an electric start, like a later B or something like that, just because this tractor was a hand start, like I said originally earlier in the video. Now you could argue, okay, you're going to ruin a tractor by converting it to electric start, but listen, if it makes the tractor enjoyable for you, do what you got to do to make it enjoyable for you, because at the end of the day, the only one that's going to matters to is you, as far as what you do to the tractor and how much you're going to enjoy it. If you do something to it that makes it even better for you, just do it, you know? Don't let people run your life on what you're going to do with your tractors. So with that said, here in an upcoming video, I'm going to cover every single tractor here, talk a little bit more in depth about them, and I'll see you then. Thanks for watching Vintage Iron.